Hi everyone, Sebastian Richard here once again for Lead Like a Superhero, in which we will talk today about another superhero quote from the book, Lead Like a Superhero. And today's quote comes to us from Wolverine. And for those of you who are not familiar with Wolverine, well, there's been a lot of movies made about the X-Men, and Hugh Jackman portrayed the character on screen extremely well. So Wolverine was basically is a Marvel character, and he was created in the 70s, and he's a Canadian just like me, but he's got anger issues. And the reason why he's got anger issues is because the Canadian government kidnapped him because of his mutant healing factor. So he heals very, very fast when you cut him, when you hurt him, when he's bruised. He heals like 10 times, 20 times faster than a normal human being. And as a result, they decided to use that healing factor to experiment on him by trying to graft onto his skeleton an unbreakable metal called adamantium. So they wanted to cover his whole skeleton with this unbreakable metal. Unfortunately, the process proved to be like torture. It was extremely, extremely painful. And when he got his skeleton grafted with that unbreakable metal, he was even more powerful, and he broke out of their secret government underground experiment bunker. And basically what he did is he killed all of them, and he escaped in the wilderness. But he also had fractured memories, and he had undergone severe trauma. So basically it was extremely hard for him to overcome that, and it took him years and years and years of basically of overcoming that, but also getting help from Charles Xavier from the X-Men, Prof. Xavier, Professor X. So that's the background story here. But the quote is kind of like that a little bit. The quote is from Wolverine. So he says, "If you cage the beast will get angry." And obviously the context is probably as a warning. He's probably issuing a warning, say, guys, you don't want to do that to me. You don't want to do that, because if I get angry, it's not going to be pretty. And what happens when Wolverine gets angry? Well, he takes out those claws of his, and he just goes through everything that stands in his way, slashing and dicing and just not caring who gets killed in the process. So obviously, none of you guys out there have foot-long claws on each hand, like 3-foot-long claws on each knuckle, hands, and nobody's going to go out and do that. But that feeling of being caged and what it brings, now you guys might be familiar with that. And that's what I want to talk about today. See, Wolverine, because of his past, whenever he felt trapped, he goes berserk. Okay? Whenever he feels like his back is to the wall, he goes completely nuts. And he takes out those claws, and he doesn't care who gets hurt or killed or whatever. But some of you might feel trapped on a day-to-day basis. Some of you guys might feel trapped in a relationship. You might feel trapped in your life in general because your life is not heading in the direction you would like it to go. Some of you guys might feel trapped in your jobs, and you don't like your job, but you don't know how to get out of it. You have responsibilities, and you feel like you can do more, but you still feel trapped. You say, I want to do more. I have dreams, but I can't because I have responsibilities too. So I feel trapped. I have to do this. I have to do this job that I don't like. I have to do this duty or whatever else you're doing that is keeping you where you are. But oftentimes what we don't realize is that those traps or those prisons or those cages, like the quote says, when you feel caged, oftentimes those bars are of our own creation. And oftentimes they're due to our own self-limiting beliefs. So we have to overcome whatever it is in our thinking that makes us think, hey, I'm trapped, I can't get out of this. There's always a way to overcome hurdles in our lives, okay? And here's what I've noticed, because I spoke to so many people, and people have two very different reactions when it comes to that feeling of being trapped. Obviously, it brings out anger, but the way they express that anger is very different. For the extrovert, that anger might be expressed in a more abrasive way. They're going to come out being abrasive, being mad at people, snapping, having a bad temper. And that's more for the extrovert, and they might actually start harming themselves, drinking, using drugs. But the introvert also might do that, but the introvert also channels his anger within. So what happens to the introvert is he becomes depressed or sullen, or he seeks solitude. He just becomes miserable. He can become suicidal. That's how suicides happen, by the way. They internalize that anger, and it becomes a very, very deep pain, and they decide to end their lives. So anger is, like Yoda said, a path to the dark side. And when you feel caged, when you feel trapped in your life, oftentimes it brings out those feelings of anger, or it brings them in, depending on what your temperament is. And you have to recognize what is causing that. Obviously, you have to look at your own life and really find a way to get past those hurdles, to get out of that cage, basically, so that you don't feel trapped. Tony Robbins once explained, it was very simple. He says, basically, depression is a result of stagnation. So if your life is stagnant and it's not moving anywhere, and it's not moving on a daily basis from progress to progress in a direction of your goals or dreams or whatever, you're going to get extremely depressed or extremely angry. And you're going to want to lash out either at the world outside or at yourself. So you have to recognize that, and you have to also make those choices, those tough decisions that might demand more from you, but that will bring you that liberty and happiness that you so seek. And happiness is a very simple thing. Happiness, people see happiness as like a pie in the sky or a diamond. Happiness is very simple. Happiness is the result of progress in your life. When your life is stagnant, you're unhappy. And when your life is moving forward to something that you have decided for yourself, even if it's little progress every day, you're going to feel happy because you're moving towards something that makes you happy. So don't be like Wolverine. Don't become super angry and lashing out, but rather learn from that and learn to channel that anger into constructive energy that's going to bring you to the results that you want in your life. And on that, I wish you a super progressive day. And I wish you a wonderful, blessed day as you decide to get out of that cage, and that you make the steps, that you implement the steps in your life to get out of it and get out of that cage and not get angry, basically, because it's about being happy, not being angry like Wolfie. All right? Have a good day. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.